Hello and welcome to Curse of Strahd, another rendition. You may be wondering, there's one extra person here today. Um, I we're going to welcome
Who is
Adam,
it?
but
It's
we
me.
don't know. We don't know why Adam's here. Who knows?
Just to watch.
But Adam is here.
Just watching.
um, of course, announcements. We have this week another rendition of Campaign 3. Akios join the party. It's you guys are on a roll, I feel like. So it's still beginning of the campaign. So if you haven't watched it, get in now. A week from today, Monster Hearts. We are nearing the end of freshman year. This is a lot of stuff has happened. This is one of the penultimate sessions. You need to watch it. It's going to be fun, exciting, and probably scary. Speaking of fun, exciting, and scary, Curse of Strahd. Last time, our party, fresh off the trauma and turmoil of what happened at the werewolf den, the werewolf clan being poisoned, and the death of a few prisoners. You had a few run-ins with Rudolph Van Richten, legendary monster hunter. Petra having a experience with him where he treated you of your hag's affliction, but then left you surrounded by a magic circle spell. You, Gabe, having a crisis of faith, and Teddy realizing that Van Richten is the man who killed your parents. And Sal also briefly running into your mentor, the wizard, and trapped in some sort of weird dimension or space-time or something. He reached out to you briefly. You know that he is still trapped deep within the book by Lorcan, Finger of Oblivion. You traveled to the nearby city of Kresk, a kind of secluded burg at the end of the Barovian Valley. It is a fully self-sufficient town. There are trees for lumber and livestock and fresh wells with drinking water. The people of this town, you realize, do not venture outside the walls very much, because outside of the walls in Barovia is dangerous. And seated on top of this sleepy town is a abbey, a place of worship, and of course a hospital in times before to sick people. Although you know that from talking to some of the members of Kresk that it has not been openly used in a long time. You were invited into the burgomaster's home, Dimitri and his wife Anna. They were in a good mood because, as you found out, their son, teenage son Ilya, a 13-year-old boy, had recently died of disease, but has been miraculously resurrected and is seemingly doing well after a few weeks of now living again. You also saw that the party of Vistani that was taking your Irina, your friend, and Arabelle, this small Vistani girl who had read you your fortune. They were traveling west towards Kresk. When you got here, you found Arabelle. The girl had stayed behind, but the rest of the Vistani and Irina had left the city to go to the nearby Wizard of Wine's winery. For two reasons. One, because the shipment of wine has been delayed for a long time. This winery is responsible for shipping the wine throughout the region. And two, because it is owned and operated by the Martikov family, who are relatives of the family that owned the Blue Water Inn in Vlaki, a brief place of respite that you enjoyed while in that town. Meanwhile, Gabe, you left the rest of the party chatting idly in this house with the burgomaster and his wife and Arabelle. And you travel to the far edge of the city of Kresk, where there is a giant lake freshwater well that is just it's basically a pond that is. It seems like the waters are clean and clear for some reason. Next to it is a shrine to the Morning Lord, surrounded by trees at the far edge of the gate in the wall. You saw a man there, an older man who had obviously come here many times in his life to pray to the Morning Lord. And you confronted him and asked him about the hope that he has in his worship of the Morning Lord, despite the fact that there is no sun or morning really here in Barovia. He seemed sad and almost defeated. And you, in your moments of conflict with who you are, who you worship, who you represent, and your pledge now to the Night Mother, a god that is completely opposite in most ways to what you had known your entire life, the Morning Lord. And you killed this man right here by yourself on the edge of town. As he laid down in front of you, you felt yourself break your oath. You shed the wings of the Morning Lord, no matter how fallen they were before, and spread new ones, that of a person looking for redemption. And you spotted up on the Abbey, on the giant hill that overlooks the sleepy city, the silhouette figure of a winged man standing near the roof of the belfry. You cannot make up any details because of some swirling snow and low-laying fog, but in this moment, fueled by instinct, you fly up to the top of this belfry. When you land, you see you are now standing on a belfry, a tall tower that extends over the top of this abbey. It is hard to see the actual grounds of the abbey despite your heights because of the swirling snow and fog. The fog has nestled from the mountains and just lays right on top of the courtyard of this abbey. But you do see that there are two buildings surrounded or separated by a courtyard in the center. But you stand now above the bell on a little platform that is wide enough to stand. And standing in front of you, Adam, can you please describe your character?
You see a gorgeous, man, beautiful, clean, like shaven face, sort of, curly locks a little bit, white robes, a humble, set of robes of a holy person, but unblemished by any sort of sign of dirt or grime or even rain. As it comes down, it seems to just, it might hit, but it doesn't leave any sort of lasting mark on his clothes. And he nods to you.
Gabe would look and say, "My name is Gabriel. I feel drawn to you in this moment. Who are you?"
Gabe. Welcome to my abbey. I am the abbot here, and the reason you feel drawn, I think, maybe we are meant to meet. Come, follow. And stepping off of the edge of the top of the belfry, he falls down to the ground and lands with weight, but not with effort.
Gabe would definitely look in the direction of the house of his friends. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that he would. Okay, yeah, I know what he would do. How big is this town?
How big is the town?
Yeah, it's kind of a small town, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of spread out because there's a lot of room for like trees and
Yeah.
livestock, but there's not a lot of people.
But even though, but shake, rattle, and roll's probably within a mile of me, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. I think I'm gonna have shake, rattle, and roll like I described to him. I don't know if this will work, but I described
Okay.
to him where the house was that I left them, and I want him to go there and like paw at the front door until he sees one of my friends, and then
Okay,
once he sees one of my friends, I want him to try to get them to follow him to me.
gotcha. You kind of hear in response from Shake, Rattle, and Roll, okay. Then you think he's trying to do it to the best of his ability.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I need to follow the abbot, and so I float down after you, and since my wings only last for a minute, they probably furl underneath my cloak as I do so.
All right, you land on the kind of soft, snow-soaked ground of the grounds of the Abbey. Um, Even now, from here, as you're kind of standing in front of the large couple-story building with the large bell tower on top of you, there's a couple of walls and a little bit of a gate behind you. You can see back to the side is looks like markings of a small graveyard off to the round to the side of the building. Gabe, can you make a perception check?
Sure. That's a 10.
Um, it's quiet, calm. All you really hear is the swirling of this beginning of winter snow. Um, and the abbot now stands before you.
Come with me. I have some chores to attend to. Walk with me, and I have a sense that you need to talk something out.
I do. Yes. I will walk with you, and perhaps I can be of some assistance.
I'd like to head north along the side of the abbey to the gardens.
Got it. All right, you follow beside the abbot as he strides gracefully across the grounds. Gabe, what are you thinking right now?
I am thinking. Okay, so it felt good when I pledged myself to the Night Mother. I know that I have left a corpse sitting in a shrine, and I think that that genuinely does weigh on him in this moment. And so he knows that like he can't just leave that alone, and like he has to deal with that. So I think that the part of that's on his mind, but I think overall he feels good, and he feels like this was something that's been clawing at him, and you know he's been trying to believe in destiny and in fate this entire time he's been here. And I think that this happening, and then this man being on the top of the belfry looking in the direction of the shrine that nobody else was in, like how would he have, like I think the Gabe thinks like how would he have known that I was there? This must be destiny. He must have been informed by the Night Mother. This is not just a random man. This is a guide for me, and I've been told I need to come to this abbey anyway. And so I think he's confused, but he is trusting in this moment and sees the abbot as some kind of guide for him.
Your memory is cast back to that day you sat in the tent with Madame Ava, the Vistani camp,
Yeah.
and the Taroka card reading. And her language and words to you have been muddled in your mind for a little bit. Like, did you say this? It's hard to remember in the excitement of the moment, but in this moment, it is crystal clear to you. You remember her flipping a card, the philanthropist,
Yes.
a man with his hands out, and you remember her saying that this card will show you the way to power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance and a powerful vestige of your heritage, a sword made of pure sunlight in a darkened world. Find a place where madness and illness are bred. You will find a mirror of yourself, a path that could yet be taken. Seek them out, understand your purpose, and become vindicated.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that remembering those words, because I did definitely, one thing I definitely do remember is the second vision that I had, which is of a hilt that a man, I don't remember the man specific, but a figure was holding that became a light and, like, became the sword. I had forgotten about the you see a mirror of yourself, and so yeah, I think that Steve thinks this. Steve. That's funny. That's funny. Gabe thinks that must be who this is in this moment, and yeah, and with that, Revelation feels almost excited.
You traverse the Abbey grounds until you get to the far side, still on this top of this cliff that overlooks down, almost like thousands of feet into the valley and trees below, and the city itself off to your backside. But you come to a gardens. There are 4 rectangular garden plots enclosed by 5-foot high walls of mortared stones. There are some turnips that have been uprooted by rabbits, a couple of like lifeless scarecrows with the kind of sacks over their heads stand amongst the vegetables. It is cold, dark earth. And you're now on the backside of one of the buildings of the Abbey. The door to this building is currently closed.
The abbot is down amongst the turnips, picking some of them up that have been chewed by rabbits, dusting some off that still have something of value in them, collecting, pulling up some root vegetables, and turns your way. I see you, and I saw you. I saw you kill that man. Why? Why?
That man's life had become painful to him. Something that he had regretted. There was a sorrow in him. And I saw a way to release him from that struggle.
I too am familiar with those who are in need of healing, but the only healing that will save them is death. And he turns a little bit back towards the Abbey. You decided it was your duty to kill the man? Why were you the one to take your sword and end him?
It was not my duty, no. I will not feign to be something that I think that I'm not. It was for selfish reasons that I killed the man. I needed to prove myself to a power greater than me, but also to myself.
Yeah. Yes. A power greater than you. Who guides you? And towards what ends?
Gabe hesitates, and his eyes narrow. He does kind of like look the abbot up and down. Does he see any glaring ornifications of a deity?
I'll let you decide, Adam.
I don't think you would see any symbols or anything of any deity on him.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So I think he still thinks this is. So I think he decides to be truthful in this moment after kind of looking you up and down for a second, and he says, "I used to believe that it was the Morning Lord. I pledged my life to him, and did many a deed in order to be seen in his eyes, and yet in this place he has abandoned me. And so I pledged myself to one who did not, one who I have come to know as the Night Mother."
This may be why we are drawn together then. You and I. I too have had guidance from the Morning Lord that brought me to where you see me today. But there's no time here. And he gathers what root vegetables he has and starts making his way back towards the main entry gates of the abbey.
All right.
Gabe just follows in silence.
As you travel back down the abbey walls, you come to a 15-foot high curtain wall that joins the two buildings of the abbey. Behind the battlements, you can see there is a giant 10-foot tall pair of wooden doors with reinforced bands of steel. And you can see right next to it is a plaque, tarnished kind of copper plaque that says, "May her light cure all illness."
Tell me, does the Night Mother guide you towards any... Where do you wish the Night Mother to guide you towards? Any goal? Any purpose?
The Night Mother guides me in the way that she gives me the strength that I need to banish those that abuse the night. I will rid this land of the devil that poisons it. My goal, as you say, is to see Strahd destroyed and this land freed.
That is a noble goal. It is. May I ask you, how did the Morning Lord... How did the Morning Lord guide you here? Are you from these lands?
I am not from these lands, and I do not believe it was the Morning Lord who did guide me here. Not anymore. But I am from a different place. A place away from Barovia. I was brought here against my will with others.
These lands are accursed and poisoned. And I sometimes wonder if the reason we do not feel the light of the Morning Lord is that if he were to touch the ground of these lands, he would not be trapped as well.
Perhaps.
But food.
Perhaps it is equally possible that he is a coward
It is. It quite is. And then I enter through the main gates into the courtyard and make my way along the to the right towards the main hall.
I think that Gabe just kind of watches the Abbot's every move, not in a paranoid or aggressive way, but in a curiosity and just seeing. There's clearly, obviously, like a piece to this man, and I think that in this realm, in this world, he finds that so interesting, and I think that he's just truly just like observing him as we continue on.
As you enter the courtyard, it swirls with thick fog, as if trying to escape from these walls. There is the 15-foot high wall all around you, which means you are slightly insulated from the swirling snow. You can now see that in the middle of this courtyard, there is a well that the abbot glides gently past without looking. To your behind, there is a separate building that you had walked around to go to the gardens. It is a couple stories tall, front door closed. But you can hear, Gabe, some murmurs, some shrieks, soft coming from that building. In the back part of the courtyard, there is a person, it seems like, who is tied to a stake in the ground, laying there with the chains connected, perhaps sleeping. The abbot walks up to what you know is to the main hall, right underneath the belfry where you started. And the abbot throws the doors open. Behind, in this room where the abbot steps in, Gabe, you can see that it is a large 50-foot square room. There's arched, leaded glass windows. There's a wooden staircase that climbs up to a level above this, and another staircase that descends down into a cellar. There's a large wooden table that stretches nearly the length of the room with several chairs and dishware and gold candelabras with neatly arranged napkins and silverware. There is, in the front, a cauldron that is boiling above a hearth, a massive, giant cast iron cauldron, clearly cooking some stew that you smell. It smells delicious. And you see, standing over the cauldron, tending to it, a man who is clearly the cook. He is short, perhaps 4 feet tall. He Let's see. He is barrel shaped. The first thing you notice is that he has 2 heads. His right head is fully formed and combines the features of a patchy haired man with those of a goat with kind of stubby horns. His left head is a soft cherubic baby that is sleeping on his shoulder. His body is covered with crocodilian hide. He has a crab's pincer instead of a left hand and a bear's paw where his right foot should be. And strapped on his back is a violin. And as you come in, he looks to the abbot and he says, "Master, it's almost ready!"
Excellent, Cloven. Thank you. My guest and I, we will tend to Mishka and Marzena, and you may feed the rest. Please, do not skimp.
Okay, I promise I won't skip. I promise. Nice to meet you. Bows to you, Gabe.
Oh, fucking what? I just hold it together, and I nod to him, and my hand subconsciously just rests, doesn't grab, but rests on the handle of my hand axe.
As Cloven, you now know,
Yeah.
puts this big cauldron on like a little wagon and with a lot of effort pushes it out the front door that you just came in out into the courtyard. We are going to switch
Oh,
to
thank
the
God.
rest of the party. Thank God. The rest of you are sitting in the town of Kresk. You're sitting in a table in a living room at the burgomaster's house. At this table, you see Piddlewick and Linguini and Arabelle, the 8-year-old girl. Um, let me see if I have a. Oh yeah, no. Um, do I have a? Oh yes, I do. There's Arabelle. Um, And you know what? Here's this too, just because it's good.
Yeah, there he is.
um, Arabelle is like a little bit worked up. You know, she's an 8-year-old girl, and is like has a lot of like energy, and she's kind of pacing around, and she's has just told you the story of Ilya, the son who has been resurrected. Um, Ilya is sitting at the table with you as well. The burgomaster and his wife are not here; they're attending to some other things in town. So it's just you three, Arabelle and Ilya. And Ilya is just stuffing his face with like finger foods and like salamis and crackers. Um, but in this time, you have taken a rest, and of course, you have leveled up. So like this is the moment where you're getting your things together and leveling up and figuring out your abilities. It's just this is like the level up screen essentially.
So we're just hanging out with some kids.
Yeah. Arabelle looks to Teddy. Um, and you remember, Teddy, that Arabelle had stayed partially because she had a vision of you and her looking together in a pond that she believes to be in this town somewhere. And she seems eager to like go with you there. So she's got a little bit of nervous energy, and she whispers to you and points to Ilya. She says, "I don't He's eating a lot. I don't want to say anything. He's a growing boy, but it just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't sit well." He crosses her arms.
I don't really think that, no disrespect, but kind of, someone eating too much is kind of the least weird thing about this entire place. So, I don't know.
Okay, fine. She sits back. So, how was your trip? Did you go? You went to the castle? That must have been fun.
Sure.
Fun's an interesting way of putting it, I guess.
Eventful.
Yeah, very eventful.
Okay, not going to. You're just going to say eventful and not going to tell me the events. That's.
I mean, we met the count.
Oh.
And were they his wives? The wives?
Concubine, yeah.
Wives, yes.
Concubines? What is that?
You'll learn when you're older.
Close friend.
Very special friend.
Okay.
A group of them. Group of special friends.
But you have
Okay.
to, it's an adults only kind of friend. Like, you shouldn't be.
Yeah, you don't want to be. That's not for you.
No.
Okay. That was great. Great
I did
explanation.
tell you. I think I told you that I got married there.
Oh, congratulations.
We talked about that last.
Oh yes. I'm sorry. I would have been the flower girl, but I'm too old for that now.
No, it's okay. That's okay. Yeah.
Ilya grabs like a piece of bread, and he says, "You guys should try the bread. It's great." He like hands some bread to you, and he's like chewing on the bread.
Sure. Yeah.
Pretty good. Best
Sal.
bread I've had since we came. Yep.
I mean, I'm not there, so I didn't interrupt you. So I assume that you finished that sentence. But
Yep, I did. I was talking about how good the bread is.
As you're eating the bread and enjoying it, you come to a horrifying conclusion. You take out your spell book, the spell book that you have, not the addendum that you found with Fiona Voctor, but your spell book, the one that you used to be the wizard's spell book, and he gave to you. It is completely empty. Nothing on any of the pages. None of the half of it was filled with the wizard's drawings and spell casting and runes. That's all gone. Your your lessons and writings and doodles during boring parts of his teachings and your first cantrip, all that completely gone, as if it was never there.
What? Oh my god!
What?
Holy shit!
Language, first of all.
It's fucking blank, man. There's no, and I'll hold up the book and blank pages. This is
Okay, yeah, I got it. Yo, no, I see it.
What does that mean?
I don't. That's how I get my magic. I don't memorize everything. I gotta look it up.
It's
I
fucking
don't know
blank,
what it
man.
means.
Who said that?
Right?
I'm old enough to say fucking.
I don't think that's I shouldn't. That's not up to me. It's up to your dad.
He says that.
I don't know what to do. Can I don't have detect magic, but can I? Well,
Make an Arcana check.
That's a natural one.
I think you're panicking. You try to you're looking and you're trying to remember how to cast a cantrip, and it's a cantrip. And it's I think I know. Let me just look. Oh, I can't I can't cast spells. You guys are sitting across from Sal. He's flipping through the book and looking around, panicked. Linguini is hopping up and down, looking at you, a little bit cockeyed, concerned.
What are we gonna do? What do I do? I'm just some old man.
That's not true. You also have horns.
Now I'm just some horny old man.
Well,
any other sentence would have been great to say.
Do you mind if I
Please.
I do cast detect magic.
Okay. Your detect magic reveals a combination of conjuration and necromancy. Your knowledge of how this kind of spell book works, you know that the spell book is it's very, as for a wizard, it is very studied and learned. These runes, most wizards aren't necessarily innately magical. They're spending the time to kind of learn magic. So in that sense, it is possible that it could have been erased or removed. But you believe that something has taken the magic. It's not erased, it's stolen.
Do you have any idea of how this might have gotten taken from you?
The bread's pretty good.
Ilya's giving you bread.
Yeah.
That's crinkly bread. Jeez.
No, it doesn't really leave my side. Doesn't leave my possession. I don't think anybody could have taken it. As far as
I don't mean this in a judgmental way, but did you make another deal with some sort of thing?
Not since the last one. No. Can I pull out the addendum? Is there anything in the addendum, or is that blank as well?
You pull out the addendum, and it is filled to the brim. The writing is unrecognizable. There's scrawlings of languages you don't understand and drawings of alien buildings and architecture and spells that are beyond your comprehension. The writing itself is in blocky, wet, black ink that is smeared in some locations as if freshly written. The pages are almost recoil from your touch before giving in to your hands as you flip through the book in horror. This book gives off this strong, overpowering smell of brimstone. And you come to a section and you see your spell book, your spells, in the middle of this book, not written in your hand, but here on the page.
They're They're here. Did one of you guys, is this some kind of fucking joke?
Why would I want to prank you by... I can't even finish that sentence. I don't even know what I would possibly be able to do that to you.
Piddlewick, did you do this?
Piddlewick has a piece of bread and is like sticking it down his throat. He pulls out the bread. Looks at you.
All right, well, I believe him. And I believe you had nothing. I don't know what's going on with me right now. He'll just like be staring, reading through the book.
Petra's the only other magic person. I'm not accusing Petra, just that she might be able to.
No, but it does bring up if somebody was trying to mess with us, and if it's not something that you know of, it could be the hag trying to weaken us as a team.
Yeah, I mean, it also could be that demon I made a deal with taking more control over me.
Or it could also be the other devil. You know, all dark and fangy.
Yeah.
There's a knock on the front door.
I'll get up like I'll get up like unsheath my rapier. Hello?
You hear on the other side, Dimitri, Anna, please open. There's been an emergency.
Who is this? Who is this?
Who is this?
I asked you first.
We're the current guardians of this domicile.
There's no more voice from the other side of the door.
Is there like a people or like something that I can look outside?
You like bend down into one of the front windows, and you see that there is a middle-aged human man standing on the other side. Looks like he's maybe like a lumberjack because he has a axe on his back and is wearing like boots. And he's like big, long beard, and he's like looking around, like clearly agitated.
It's a lumberjack. Do you mind lumberjack?
Ooh, a lumberjack. That's my type.
That was good. You're 8. You're 8.
Well, I heard that people say people that are their type, and I want to say it too.
Sure.
I don't need to know about that at all.
Okay.
I'll open the door like a little bit and just like my face through. Hello?
This man says, "What? Who are you? Where are the burgomaster? Where's we? Listen, there was an emergency. Please get the burgomaster."
For what purpose?
Franklin has been killed by the shrine.
Yes.
Who is this Franklin?
Turtle.
He looks to you, wide-eyed, like, how do you not know Franklin? Who the fuck are you? And he says, "Listen, please open the door or tell me where they went. This is not.
This isn't my. No, I understand, but this isn't my home. I can't just let you in. There's children here."
He shakes his head and turns and like runs off.
If someone's been killed, we should check it out.
Could also be a trap. Where did the burgomaster go? Where is
he? He was around.
Well,
he was
I will
in
say,
another room.
Sorry,
Yep.
Matt, not to interrupt. I apologize, but I do just want to remind everyone because it was a couple weeks ago. But they do know that that's where I was headed. Like I said, I was headed to that shrine, and he just said he was killed at the shrine. So I would say that.
Yeah.
Hey,
Shit.
we're headed there. We need to go investigate and make sure he's all right.
Yes, you're right. How do we divvy this up? Arabelle, watch Piddlewick. Piddlewick, watch Ilya.
Piddlewick's coming with us.
We can't leave. We can't leave Arabelle.
I'm absolutely coming with you as well. There's no debating. I'm definitely coming with you. This kid.
That's a horrible idea.
I'm a fortune teller.
Yeah, and a new recruit to the
Okay, fine.
the Morning Lord. So.
Fine.
Yeah,
Fine.
I love the Morning Lord.
Oh yeah.
All right, you stay here and finish that
Petra
bread.
made a child get saved.
Yep, yeah. Petra baptized a kid.
Sal.
Yeah.
You lean over to Ilya, and he looks at you, and he kind of cocks his head, and leans in, like sits back and gives a little belly laugh, and he says, "I see you, Lorcan."
There's a lot to unpack. Oh my God, what? I'm not Lord. You know Lorcan?
Ilya picks a piece of bread and starts
boy.
eating it. He goes, "Have you tried the bread?"
Okay, this guy really likes bread. We need to go see if Gabe is fine.
He just called me Lorcan. That's the devil that I made the deal with.
I know that, but which problem do you want to address first? The thing that Gabe might be dead or that you're very likely a demon?
I think we all know Gabe killed that guy. I'll walk out. I'll walk out the house.
Okay, but maybe Gabe is the guy.
All right, you walk out the door and you're heading down the road on the way to what you think the shrine is.
Would we see, because Gabe had sent the creepy fucking horse to talk to us.
Yes, you actually, the burgomaster's house is somewhat close to the gates. And you can see through the gates, there's a skeletal horse that is like pawing at the front gate. And there's a couple, you see Sandrine, the guard, is over there, and he's like shrugging to this other guard, like scratching her head, like, what do we do?
That horse is a friend.
Sandrine looks over you. Oh, hey guys, you having good lodging? Wait, the skeletal horse is your friend?
Friend is a very strong term.
Friend of a friend.
Work acquaintance.
Okay,
Surrey
this
is
horse
so much better than Piddlewick, and you guys suck.
Says fucking who?
The Sandrine opens up the gate and Sir runs past you and gets to the front door of the burgomaster's house and starts like pawing on the door.
Yes, we're fucking. Yeah, this horse is better than Piddlewick. Doesn't even have cool pants.
What a dumb horse.
Yeah, I know, it's really upsetting.
Piddlewick looks at all of you and he's...
I know, you're amazing, Piddlewick. I've always been a fan.
You're doing great things.
I love when he does the thumbs up. Right, Gabe might be dead. Let's go.
Yeah, we should go.
You travel through the town to the edge, and there's quite a commotion here. There is maybe 20, 30 people standing around the body of an older man that is seated. You can see the burgomaster is here, and with a couple of guards is like standing over him, and they're talking, conversing, and there's a lot of murmuring from the crowd of people.
Ooh. Okay, so
Does
it's not Gabe that's dead.
Does it look like Gabe did it though? Does it, like, I've seen Gabe kill enough things, I think maybe.
Make an investigation check.
How angsty does the kill look?
21.
It looks like he was very, very severely stabbed or slashed.
Is his head chopped off?
I mean, I said that I was going for a swift chop of the head, but if that's not what happened, I totally understand.
I mean, he's not quite decapitated, but his head is like hanging off.
I didn't finish the job.
I think you would maybe put it together because the guards are wielding pikes, like spears.
I could get to the bottom of this, and I just am kind of talking to my party, and was like, I have spells that would allow me to ask him how this happened.
Oh, let's do it. That's fun.
That'd be great. Whoever did this should be tried and...
I don't... Well, okay.
It's murder.
Great. Everyone's making amazing points. I love this cooperative energy. You're not here right now.
I say that to the Abbot. No, I'm just kidding.
We just thought process, thinking out loud, brainstorm, one might say. If we ask this dead body who killed it and it says, oh, your friend did, do you think the town would still be agreeable to us hanging around?
I mean, if you did do it, do you think they would? Anyways, it's gonna come out.
That's true.
Wait, your friend killed this man?
You think Gabe did this?
I mean,
He was coming here. He's not here, and there's a dead body. You know, Gabe.
Yeah.
Gabe isn't a murderer.
Well,
Well, I mean, he
Says
is, but
that.
you don't know
that's
that.
like that's not exactly true.
But you would have no reason to.
Right, and that is where I'm kind of at with this. It's like I can't
No.
believe that Gabe would do this. What purpose?
I don't know. Ask if you can. If they'll allow it, that'd be great.
Yeah.
there's a little bit of like a shout and a little bit of a screech, and you see Piddlewick has pushed his way through the crowd and is doing
Oh.
CPR.
Oh, okay.
on the seated
classes are
body,
paid
so
off.
he's just in the lap of the guy pushing on his chest.
With the head off, like
the head just flopping.
he means well. He means very well. He means. Oh God.
He's just trying to help.
Yeah. His heart's in the good. Is in a good place.
Arabelle, as it kind of murmurs that, Arabelle says, "We need to see the body because we can talk to it." And people are like, "What?" And there's like shouts and murmurs across the crowd.
Petra.
If it is acceptable to you, I don't know the customs of this town, but there are magics that I know that I could use to speak with the deceased.
Dimitri, the burgomaster, steps up to you, Petra. You are a cleric of the Morning Lord?
Yes.
He like grabs your hands and like is weeping. Please, please, yes, do anything you can. Franklin was a good man in this community. Please clear away. And he pushes people out of the way, and you see this man has been laid down on his back in the middle, like on the dirt road nearby the shrine.
I take the time to like go through my bag and pull out a book of prayers and lay incense out around the corpse and light it and start under my breath a prayer to who's not exactly the Morning Lord, but close enough. And after a small moment, the incense wafts into the face and orifices of the deceased, and my prayers stop and he starts to kind of stir.
Can you make a religion check for me?
Yeah.
As this man begins to stir from your spell and incense.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. Your spell and the time that you take to set up your incense and your belongings, and the fact that it is right in front of the shrine of the Morning Lord, is a powerful moment for these people of this town.
Mm-hmm.
You look around, Sal and Teddy, and see people weeping. There's a hushed kind of murmur across these people. And on the shrine, you see the symbol of the Morning Lord, a sun rising from the horizon. And there is a flicker of light that emanates from somewhere within you, Petra. It lightens the sky and it pushes back the heavy fog and the swirling snow. There's gasps from the audience, and this man rises, his eyes now burning yellow, like the sun. And his mouth opens in rapt attention.
I'm sorry to disturb your peace. I only call upon you so that I can help serve justice for what has happened to you. Please, share with us. Who did this to you?
A little bit of breath in his lungs travels up through his broken neck into his mouth. And he says, "An angel of death." Gas murmurs from the crowd. Piddlewick puts his hand over Arabella's eyes and she bats it away.
Great comedy duo.
It's true. Yeah, we gotta get them on a buddy cop.
We gotta get them on the road. Vaudeville circuit, baby.
I'm trying to think of the next question because they can't comprehend things that happen after their death.
It's like, do we need to ask it another question? That was a pretty obvious. Yeah, that was pretty obvious. We know who the fuck that is. There's another.
Petra's still in denial. You mean
his name was Gabe?
You mean the devil? Yes.
Mouth opens, he speaks. A different devil. Never seen before. Why? At this, there's a little bit of murmur and like a hushed, angry kind of tone from the crowd. And there's some people kind of arguing in the side. People are looking over at you as newcomers to the town, especially as he has just proclaimed that this person is new to him. Clearly, this man has been here in a long time, and a lot of people like know him, and at least know that he would know a newcomer.
Again, I understand your hesitation. Do we need to ask another qualifier?
You can ask a question that would steer him in another direction. I don't know, get the heat off our boy.
Did this person have cause to harm you?
The body nods, yes.
Weird with the head kind of flapping like that.
Yeah, as it nods, it's like on the little like the hinge of the broken neck.
Performing CPR on.
Oh, God, I can't look at it.
I look to the burgomaster, and I only have 2 questions left that I can ask this.
He nods and says, well, he has some family that might want to ask him something, perhaps.
That is my thought as well.
You see the burgomaster walks over to a young woman that you believe to be probably his daughter, middle-aged, and this man was old. And she's through tears.
I thought he was about to have a really young wife, and I was like, maybe it's okay that he's...
Jeez.
You see that through tears, she bends down next to him, and she whispers something in his ear. She kind of steps back and he responds out loud to everyone and says, I am at peace. She cries, and then an older woman kneels by, and she's holding his hand. And she's grabbing his finger. You can see his ring finger. There is no ring on it, but she's holding that hand. And she says, Franklin, do you love me? And there's a pause, and he shakes his head no. And his
dear
body falls unconscious to the
That
ground.
was the last act on this plane
Damn.
of existence.
And we cut now to the Abbey.
God.
You are sitting in the dining room. Cloven Bellevue has just wheeled the cauldron of food out, but you stand, the Abbot and Gabe, together in this dining hall with some food prepared and silverware on the table.
What is your... Who are you?
I am like you. I came to these lands against my will. Well, forced to come to these lands, I would say. I was abandoned by the Morning Lord, the very one who sent me. I agree with you. I think he is a coward. But I think that in any position, any god not already here would not dare take a step this direction.
There is a darkness here that is darker than anything I've ever seen. It's corruptible, it's malleable. You can feel it, let alone see it. How have you survived for so long? How did you find your place here?
Well, in my moment of despair, in my moment of loneliness, I realized if I could not have the balms of gods, I would have the balms of men. And so I chose love. I made a life for myself. I was married. I lived. But that was taken away too.
By him?
I don't believe that rarely have I seen the actions of gods be so personal. They may say they will do something, but it is frequently not them who does it.
Pardon me, when I asked him, I meant Strahd.
I see. No. No. It was an accident. Wolves. It was simple but brutal. And I suppose that's an extension of Strahd. But that is the world.
Yes. There is not a pain much worse than the ripping away of something you love. And I'm sorry you had to experience that.
You speak from knowledge?
Yes. before I found myself in the position you find me now, there was one other time that I felt myself crawling out of the darkness I was in. I was reaching for handholds, and I found them through someone. She was very special to me. And she was taken away. Forcefully. Brutally. In a way, it's what brought me here. In a way, it's still what drives me.
You aim to get her back?
No. She's gone. But I aim to make sure she did not die for nothing. It is in her memory that I want to purge this land of the evil that I find it in.
The abbot gathers a couple bowls, simple bowls, fills them full of soup, stew, and takes them out back into the courtyard. And as he, does the action of filling them, when you're a person who lives by a philosophy, by a word, and your philosophy is tested, it's tested all the time. And is you holding your word up against all the evils of the world and seeing which holds out strongest. And sometimes the world wins. And you collapse. As I did. But I've reached a point where my philosophy no longer collapses. When I reach something that I cannot maintain, I change. I shift. Now that is not necessarily in the workings of a being like the Morning Lord. But I think change is good. And out into the courtyard, the abbot walks past the well and sets one bowl on the edge of the well, and then walks towards the figure chained up. When I lost my love, I had already changed from being devoted to God to being devoted to life. And when the smallest of heavens was taken again, not afforded me here, I realized that this is not a place for any kind of joy. Whether in life or in death. I don't believe the gods cull your souls from this place if they do not dare tread here. So all we have here is life. No matter how twisted it is. And as you approach, or as he approaches the figure, he turns and says to them, "Now, Marzena, you've been very good. It's time to eat. You've been very good." And he hands over the bowl.
Gabe, you see chained to this tethering post in the middle of this courtyard is a 4'5" tall creature with a hunched posture has long, kind of stringy black hair that covers her face, but you can clearly see that her mouth is replaced with the mandibles of a spider. She has two large bat wings that go across her back that are flapping wildly, and a hoof replacing her right foot. She looks up at the abbot, looks up at you, and kind of skitters a little bit like skittishly. He grabs the bowl from the abbot and tries to fly away, but is caught by the tether of the chains and falls down dramatically into the mud of the courtyard, and then kind of just sits on the ground as far away as possible from you, eating the soup with its hands. Yes.
When he gives the bowl, and I see that creature for what they truly are, I think just on instinct alone, since he's done it so much since being here, he doesn't grab his holy symbol because he currently doesn't have one of the Night Mother. But I do think that he focuses on her presence, and I like to imagine narratively, since he's drawing on her power, his eyes just flash black for just a moment, but it's not pure black. If you look closely, you see the tiniest dots of 1,000 stars within his eyes, as he casts a divine sense, to see if I get any celestial fiend or undead from either of them.
The creature that you know to be Marzina,
Yeah.
you get some undead.
Okay. I thought so.
And overwhelmingly, massive amounts from the abbot, you get celestial.
Interesting. Okay. I don't do anything with that. I just take that in. And I look at... How do you pronounce her name again?
Marzina.
Marzina. And I watch her eat for a moment. And I say, "Is this the woman you loved?"
No. No, it is not. This is Marzina, Bellevue. She is one of many here that only death could repair. And yet, what would they gain from death?
Gabe, you see next to the well where the abbot has put the other bowl, climbing out of it, from the below, another creature around 5 foot tall, wiry and spindly build. He has on his face 3 red spider eyes instead of his right eye, and he's got a frog's foot, and he kind of crawls out a little bit stuttery and a little bit wild. His eyes, spider eyes, blinking profusely, grabs the bowl and dives back down into the well.
Gabe just looks directly from that to the abbot. Did you create these creatures?
Yes, I gave them life.
In an attempt to save their soul for a time that they could be reclaimed?
I did not have those aims when I created them. I was so lost and obsessed with bringing life again. I had no God, I had no love. I had my own life. But if I could give life, perhaps we could find a space better than this. Make one, even. So, I worked, and they lived, and they live. Would you take ownership of their death?
Are you asking me to bring death to them?
If you were given your want, if I asked you to, would you do so? I guess that's two questions.
I feel no need to be anything other than honest with you. And as I look upon these creatures, I struggle to understand what life they have. One lives chained, one lives in a well.
And do we live any better? I sit in my abbey here at the bottom of a well. There is worlds beyond this place, but all we get is darkness and rain and thunder and fear. And even the small amount of joy one can find is crushed when it's found.
I think in this moment, Gabe is looking at the abbot, and he remembers the words, "A mirror of you." And a mirror is similar but opposite. It is you, but there's something different about it, something twisted, literally. And I think he falters for a moment. I understand. I can't understand completely, but you have been trapped here for so long. But I think what I have learned is, if you are going to be surrounded by darkness, it makes sense to embrace it. Use it. Maybe that's what you're doing here. Maybe it's not. I'm not sure. The other, Cloven, is he also a creation?
Yes.
Are there any others here that are not created by you?
None. They are all mine, and I am their keeper.
He looks towards the building with the screams. Even them.
Yes. They do not live poorly. They do not harm anyone. And any harm done unto them, I quickly remedy. They live as those in the village live, screaming out at our little fears. If I were to ask you to kill them, would you?
Can I roll an insight check?
Yeah, definitely. Roll an insight check.
Okay. Oh, come on, baby. It's a 13 plus 3. That's a 16.
The Abbot is pouring himself out to you.
Yeah.
Maybe in a way that you get the feeling he has not done in a long time, especially here in this abbey, and is earnestly trying to connect with you.
Do I get the sense with the 16 at all, and it's totally fine if the answer is no, if the Night Mother is involved in this situation at all, if this is something she has led me to or wants me to be here, or if this is an antithesis, or do I just get any hint of her involvement or separation of this moment?
You close your eyes, and in the darkness of your thoughts, you find yourself standing in a field of grass. It is nighttime. There are stars in the sky providing a little light, but everything around you is pitch black. Travel a little ways through the waist-high grass, but you don't find anything. Right in front of you, unable to be seen because of the darkness, you hear a scream. No, stop! Stop! Her voice cuts off mid-sentence. Take a few steps, and a hand reaches out to you from the darkness. Soft, inviting, feminine, reaching out to help you. You cannot see the body. It is hidden behind this curtain of darkness, but it is reaching out to you.
I grab the hand.
You grab the hand, and you feel a overwhelming sense of being nurtured, of helping. This is scenario you were in, surrounded by darkness and these screams. She is shepherding you away from it. You don't know 100% if the Night Mother is involved, but something is.
But it feels like she's trying to get me away from this situation. Could be. Oh, Matt.
The door to the south building opens, and you see Cloven push the cauldron out into the courtyard. As he does, the door open. You now can hear filtering out into the courtyard screams and screams of these creatures. And we cut to the rest of the group in the square of Kresk. And as you're standing there right at the end of your speak with animal spell, you hear sorry, not speak with animals.
Sorry, Matt. He's fairly cold.
Sorry, Franklin, I'm doing you dirty.
He was a real animal for what he did at that last question.
She asked.
Speak with dead, sorry. And you can hear reverberating down from the abbey up on this hill screams of 10, 20, 30 people screaming in agony and confusion at the top of their lungs.
Does it sound similar to like I don't know if they were screaming, but when I was in that like pile of dead bodies in wherever I was?
Make an insight. Make an insight.
Am I getting like a similar dead vibe? 13.
Where that was, you realize as you stare at the addendum of your spell book.
It's in the book, that's right.
Is in the book. This is similar, but different. These screams are not screams of pain, but more like confusion or even madness.
Okay. They're fine then. No need to more. No need for alarm. They're not big. No. Should we go check that out?
It's typically our thing, right?
Follow the dead bodies till we find Gabe?
It feels like that's the route. I hate to say that Gabe might be at the other end of this, but
No, it's fine. We were having a somewhat normal day, so of course that couldn't last. So let's follow the screams, huh?
You see, Arabelle says, "I'm not going to lie. If I had to choose one of you that was going to murder someone, I think I would have chosen Gabe. But that doesn't mean I don't want to cast any aspersions."
Which was funny because I've murdered like a bunch of people. All right, let's go.
All right. You travel through the town, and you can see that there is a lone path that kind of zigzags up the side of the mountain up towards the abbey on the top of the hill. It is, slightly arduous work as you are climbing. Arabelle's with you, Piddlewick is with you. It is a little bit daunting, especially now because it's slippery with the swirling snow. Can you just all make survival checks real quick?
Six.
Oh, 18.
13.
18. You think that this path has not been tread barely ever in the last maybe hundreds of years, except for recently. There are some footsteps kind of up the path that are hard to make out, but visible because of the way that this muddy mountainside trail leaves marks. 2 foot, or 1 person walking up, 2 people walking down. The only footsteps that have gone up this path in many years. You get to the top and you find yourself outside of the abbey. You are now in front of a big iron gate that stretches around the perimeter of the abbey and its surrounding area. There's a kind of small stone outbuilding that serves as like a guard's post right next to the edge of the gate. But the gate itself is slightly ajar. You can see past it into the actual abbey grounds. It looks like there's a graveyard off to the side and a couple buildings.
What do you... I mean, we could walk up to the gate, or I could make a gate of my own.
I mean,
I have the ability to shape stone.
isn't it open?
I'm just saying, we don't have to go right through the front door.
Oh,
trying to be...
I get what you're saying.
Let her do cool magic, Sal. Come on.
I just don't want you to waste your. You've
That's
already
true.
done so much with the
Oh,
speaking.
it's true, and
we
also
might
if you-
need you to heal us. That's what I'm thinking.
That's true.
That's smart. Yeah, fine.
So
That's fine. It's fine.
So do we treat the open door like it's just a regular old open door and walk through it?
Yes, it is
Hey,
the fastest way, probably there too.
When's a door not a door, not a door?
I think
John,
you've got to
When
stop
it's,
it.
yeah, no,
God damn it!
you got there.
Sal,
No,
you had it. That would have been so cool.
we can try it again later. We can try that again later.
Piddlewick shakes his head at you.
The
do you
vibes
wanna
of
get
these
around?
2 different groups.
So you're just heading towards the gate, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay, yeah, no problem.
With confidence.
As you
Hated
get
the way
to
you said that.
Yeah. As you get to the open gates, before you get to the actual threshold, a creature jumps out, carrying a small little short pike. It has a cloak on over the head, but as it jumps out, the cloak comes down, and you see a man, maybe roughly 4 feet 9 inches, pretty short, and he's squatting instead of standing upright. He is kind of looks like a beardless dwarf, but he's got donkey flesh kind of covering his skin. One human ear, one wolf's ear and a protruding wolf's snout and fangs. He's kind of got like lion or cat legs and a donkey's tail. And he looks to you and he says, "Who are you?" Holding out his pike. And you can see on his back is a big shovel that looks recently used.
What? Fuck.
Just so you know, donkey flesh is one of the most genuinely upsetting things I've ever heard just in life. Like, just ever.
I don't know how you can know that, but you do know it.
Hello? Have you seen how do we describe? You seen a man, quite tall, dark hair?
Looks like an angel, a dark angel.
Oh, yes, the Abbot, yes. You come to see?
Yep, that's our friend.
You're tricking me. Kind of gets up to you and starts sniffing you with his wolf nose.
Oh, God. No, we're not.
We are looking for. He would be clad in armor, carrying an axe. He is also winged. It sounds like he may be familiar to your abbot.
As this creature is rubbing his hands together, another pops out behind you. This one about 4'7". The left side of her face is covered with lizard scales, and the right with tufts of gray wolf fur. There is kind of pale human skin in between. One of her eyes is that of a cat's, and her fingers resemble cat's claws with opposable thumbs. She has wearing a gray cloak with dark fur trim. She says, "They're telling a lie! They're telling a lie, Otto!" And then it kind of skulks back into the darkness behind.
No, I promise. We are all why don't if you go get the just say if you can go get the friend, they can look at us from a distance and say that we're good. I promise you. We
give him
make a persuasion check.
Boss that we can speak to.
Otto, Otto.
Natural 20 for a total of a lot. Persuasion 29.
29. You see Otto looks around and says, "Yeah, stay here, right here. Come back." And he shuts the gate behind him, and you see him disappear off into the courtyard. Now you're left alone with this other creature, like the feline. She's just kind of staring at you, sneering from the shadows. We cut now back to the Abbot and Gabe in the courtyard. Before you have a chance to answer,
I've been
Gabe,
pausing for a really long time.
the front gates to the courtyard that you have come in opens, and the Abbot, you see Otto Bellevue kind of come in, kind of shrugged shoulders, and he comes up to you and he says, "Yeah, people here." Looks to you, Gabe, and points. Keep them away? What do you think?
Oh, that must be my companions who I've come here with.
Your companions?
The ones who were brought to Barovia with me.
Yes. Then invite them in. Give them food. I would like to speak with you once more. I would like an answer to my question.
Yes. That is your answer.
Very well.
Otto leaves, and you see Cloven pushes his kind of cart with the cauldron back towards the main hall. And he looks to you both, and he says, Mom, do you like the food? It's a big hit over there in the other house. Uh, the no one responds to Cloven, and he just kind of like shrugs and disappears into the building. And then shortly after, you can hear some soft violin music coming from inside that room.
Beautiful. I was told that I would find you here. I was told that it was through you that I would find my purpose. That I would be vindicated. So, yes, if you ask something of me, I will do it.
I have your word.
Yes.
Then to show it, bring death to the winged one in the courtyard. For me. Please.
I take out my battle axe. I nod. And I walk over.
The creature kind of skitters away from you, like afraid of you, but is on a leash, so can't get far.
Marzena.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, Marzena. Shush. We have a friend. A friend.
Marzana nods and kind of kneels down in front of you, Gabe.
I reach down. And I gently touch the side of her face.
As you do, you are cast back to moments of your life.
What the fuck?
You see Father Donovich, the man in the village of Barovia,
Yeah.
happy with his son, joking over dinner. You see his anguish and his torment when his son was turned into a vampire, and you see his anger at you when you killed him in front of him.
Yeah.
But you see as he is about to leave this world, a recognition of finality and peace. And you see Bluto, the man who was in the canoe with Arabelle that had her in the sack. You can see he's a young man, still slightly lost, soulless, even as a young boy, but the doting, caring family that serves him meals and loves him and takes him out even without his response or acknowledgement. And you see him grow up to be an outcast in the town, a drunk, living on the edges, but still some compassion. The Martikovs that own the Blue Water Inn take him in and feed him, but you see his life, he has no purpose. He's soulless. He just wanders. And you see him take Arabelle, but almost as if it doesn't mean anything. You see there's a second when he's commanded by the hag, but he is still in there, ready for this to be over, ready to stop being a vessel for these creatures to take over. You see Franklin, the man in the streets, old, had hope, but was loved in the town by a lot of people. He had his troubles, a divorce, but still, he was seemingly a man that people counted on. But even then, at the end, he is troubled and at peace. And finally, you see yourself when you were younger, dancing the night away with your love, Evelyn. And a voice, feminine, kind of tickles the back of your mind. You are not the result of your actions. Be true to yourself. And you're back in front of this creature, kind of staring up at you with bat wings and spider mandible, just kind of doe-eyed, docile, sedate as you grab her face.
What does that fucking mean? What does it mean? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just really struggling.
That's okay.
With this choice.
It's a tough choice.
It's not like it's the biggest choice that you've had in this campaign so far, with major implications.
I'm trying to understand the vision. Someone was screaming, and she reached out and she comforted me, and it felt good. She's showing me the vision of these people that I killed, and how they were at peace after I killed them. But then also says I'm not the consequences of my actions. I don't know what it means. I don't know. You can say no to this, Matt. Can I roll an insight check to see if she is warning me from what I'm about to do or encouraging it?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Roll an insight check.
Oh, God. That is a 16 on the die plus 3 for a 19.
It is encouraging you to do it.
That's what I thought. Everything in my body is telling me not to do this, but it feels like this is what I'm supposed to do. So I will grab her face, and it's gently, and I say, in Celestial, I say, I hope that you find what I've given all the others. And I just, like a trained soldier, very quickly take one drop step back, swing the axe above my head, and go right for the neck.
Can you make a wisdom saving throw for me, Gabe?
Why? That is a dirty 20.
As your blade cuts down this creature, you realize that this creature does have peace as it dies in front of you. But it's odd and not comforting. It is not the same feeling you had when you broke your oath. It's like something's missing still.
The abbot, upon seeing this happen and seeing the Marzena fall, kind of lengthens up and sloughs off his robe, and divine wings spread out from him from behind, and he looks and he says, utters a prayer, and asks, "Is this enough?"
Gabe and the Abbot, you both hear in your mind just a simple word. Yes.
And the Abbot flies down, grabs Gabe by the throat, and lifts him up and yells out, "Cloven, release the rest of them!" And Siegfried Otto, close the gates! We have those trying to harm us! And pulls out a sword and ignites it in radiant dawn and tries to hit Gabe through the stomach with it.
And that is where we are going to end tonight's episode.
No, Matt, you
Matt,
motherfucker!
no!
Absolutely not. No.
Oh.
There's wanting, there's leaving us wanting more, and then there's just being an asshole, man. Really learned that line.
Damn it.
Wow, great. That was fun. Thank you, Adam, for joining.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you. Oh my
I'm
God.
sorry we're gonna
well
have to kill
done.
you, man.
Well
I'm
done.
sorry.
Oh my
it was-
God.
Wow. That was really fun.
I was 2 seconds. See, Matt, I fucking hate you. I was literally 2 seconds away from releasing my hand from her, turning back to the Abbot and saying, "It wouldn't be the first oath I broke today," and then attacking the Abbot. But I didn't do it. Oh, damn it. Oh
my God.
It's better this way.
that
It's better this way.
That was fun.
Oh, man.
Thank you. Of course, thank you, Adam. This is a complicated character that I gave you, and I basically was like, do whatever you want, and you killed it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, well done.
All right. So, thank all my players. You guys are great. And as always, I guess this is it.
Prayers up.
Prayers up.
Prayers up.
Bye.